You don't procrastinate because you're lazy. You procrastinate because you don't believe in yourself. You don't believe in your own follow through. You don't believe that you'll actually get the result. So you procrastinate, you delay, you put off, you find other things to do. Because you don't actually believe that putting in that effort will deliver the result that you were looking for. Because let's be real here. If I said to you, do this thing, and it'll take you a couple of hours, and I'll give you $100 or $1,000 or $10,000 or whatever it might be, and you knew 100% that you would follow through and you would receive the reward, you'd do it. Why wouldn't you? Because the effort required would guaranteed deliver the result that you're looking for. If you know that you do X and Y happens 100% of the time, people would follow through. It's the same as things like going to a job that you hate. You do that because you also know, though, that you will get the reward, whether it's the money or whatever it is that will come with it. You might not like it, you might hate it, it might crush your soul, but you know that showing up and delivering those 8 or so hours will deliver you enough money to continue to live your life as it is. Therefore, you're willing to do it. But we're unwilling to take risks. We're unwilling to do things that we don't know for quote unquote certain will deliver the result. Or B, that requires us to continue showing up. And you don't believe yourself that you'll actually do the work required to get that done. And this is the gap. It's the same thing that applies to most things. Most people don't start new programs. They don't, attempt to change their health and fitness. They don't attempt to change their life because, they actually don't believe that they'll do it. They don't believe that they'll follow through. It's why yo-yo dieting and 12-week programs and things like this are so popular. Because, not that yo-yo dieting's popular. It's common, not popular. Those are different things. But it's because people don't actually believe that they'll change fundamentally. They go, I could do anything for 30, 60, 90 days. But forever? No, I couldn't possibly continue to do something that's beneficiary and healthy for me forever. You don't believe that you'll actually follow through. And it's why you feel lazy. It's why you procrastinate. It's why you put it off. Because you don't trust yourself enough to do the work. Because, that's one of my favorite quotes, is the only way to fail is to quit. If you keep going after, bar the extremes, because people always love to argue the extremes, but if you go after anything for a long enough period of time with enough intensity, consistency, and effort, you will achieve anything. The question is, can you stick it out for long enough? Can you follow through for long enough? Can you keep adjusting and leveling up and progressing for long enough to achieve the results? For most people, the answer is no. And that's the issue. That you aren't willing to go, I am willing to invest into myself for a long period of time to become the best version of myself. I am not willing to keep progressing forward, to keep showing up, to keep doing the work for a long enough period of time to see the results that actually matter. I've spoken before why I teach fitness as the tool to become the greatest version of yourself. Because it teaches the skills that transfer into everything. It teaches the skills that become the baseline of everything else. Because, well, if you see someone, especially as they get older, especially if they're a parent, past the age of 30, and look, you got to know, sometimes genetics come with it, but, it comes with it. If you look at that, let's say a father in his 30s who owns a business, who's in great shape. That didn't happen overnight, but that's a walking billboard that man has intensity, consistency, and effort. He can follow through. He can take care of the shit that matters. He can keep showing up day in, day out, no matter what. That's a very clear statement straight off the bat that here's a man who will get shit done. And it's why it's the greatest way to teach these skills. It's why it's the quickest and easiest way to impart these skills onto people. Because it doesn't happen overnight. It isn't, hey, I ate one decent meal. Where's my six-pack? Oh, I went to the gym once. Where's my six-pack? No, it's not how it works. You have to show up and make adjustments. And if you maintain it for an extended period of time, shows that you've got enough discipline to not slip back into comfort, to keep doing the things over and over and over again. And often without seeing the results for a long period of time. I was having this discussion with one of my clients the other day, and they were like, oh, I feel like it's always hard. And I was like, it's meant to be. If the gym becomes easy, if your workouts become easy, you're not doing it right. And they're like, what? And I'm like, that's the truth. If this becomes easy, if you go and complete a workout and you're like, well, that was really easy, simple, straightforward, I crushed that, no dramas. Well, you didn't get what you needed out of that workout. It needs to be hard. Every single workout needs to challenge you. Every single workout needs to push you. It needs to be difficult. You need to keep leveling up. Because it doesn't get easier, you get stronger. The workout should always be hard. But if you went back 6 months ago, when you started, that workout should be a breeze. If you were to do the same workout you did when you started, you'd be like, what is this? That's the progression. The progression isn't that the workout itself is easy. It's that the old stuff is easy. And that's how you need to define it. And that's how you need to look at it. But it should always be difficult. It should always be hard. You should always be looking to push it to the next level, to level it up, to keep progressing forward. These are the things that matter about this. But it teaches you follow through. It teaches you progression. It teaches you that, well, you are a man who can actually keep showing up even if you can't see the results. Because on a day-to-day basis, you will not notice the improvements you're making. You will not notice how far you've come. You will not notice the results. Because, well, you're always looking. You look at yourself every single day. You see yourself during the workouts. You see yourself in the mirror. You see yourself in your clothes. On a day-to-day basis, nothing changes. You're not really going to notice any change. But if you look back over time, then you'll see the big progressions. And that's why the fitness as the baseline of that is so important. Because it teaches you to just continue to show up. It teaches you to keep doing the work. It teaches you that consistency and effort pays off over a long enough period of time. And that's what we're looking for. And that's what we need to develop. Because, well, you need those skills in anything. You need those skills because those are the skills that will make you successful in life. Delayed gratification, working for the long term, continuing to show up. effort and consistency and intensity over a long period of time. But right now, you're procrastinating on it. And you will continue to procrastinate on it because, well, as I said, you don't believe yourself. You don't believe that you will follow through. You look at it and go, well, why would I put in the effort? And you might not be conscious of these thought processes running through your head. You might not even be aware that that's what's going on. But you'll look at it and go, well, why would I do this? I know I'm not going to follow through. Why would I do this? I know that I'm not going to get the results because I'm not going to give it long enough. I'm not going to show up for long enough. I'm not going to give the intensity, the effort for long enough to make it happen. A lot of your actions will speak to where your current mindset is, will speak to your current headspace, because it says a lot about you. Remember, our life is a direct reflection of our thoughts, our habits, and our actions. Don't like your life? Change those things. Aren't happy with where you are? Change those things. Make different decisions. And as short as, I mock the 90 days, I do. But within, I like 126 days if I'm honest, your life can be radically different. Radically different. But you have to show up. You have to do that. And you have to keep overriding that call back to comfort, that call back to ease, that call back to simple. And I firmly believe if you aren't happy with your life overall, you need to get your health and fitness in order first. That's why Demanding Greatness starts with that. Because you need to get that shit sorted first before you can get the rest sorted. Because I don't believe you'll have enough of a follow through. I don't believe you'll have enough of the skills yet, or the tools, to actually improve the other areas of your life. You need this first. I was talking to a guy the other day about this, and he wants to make more money. He needs to get those things sorted. And I was like, I get it, man. And yeah, I could talk business. I can teach those kinds of things, but it's not actually what I teach. I've been in business a very long time. I know a lot about that, but that's not actually my area of expertise. So I'm not going to be able to give blueprints for that because that's not what I teach. What I teach is making you the man who can actually follow through a blueprint. What I teach is making you a man of your word so that you can do the things that are necessary to become successful in those areas, to develop the skills to be able to become successful in the other areas. That is what I teach. That is what you'll gain from Demanding Greatness, is the ability to follow through. Because you could go and start up a business in other areas, but without these skills first, the chances of you actually following through are next to none. The chances of you actually having the discipline, the mindset, the mental toughness to do the work in other areas is pretty fucking small. It's why being successful as an entrepreneur is so small. It's so low. If you make it to 12 months, I think puts you in the top 10%. If you make it to 5 years, it drops down to 1%. If you make it to 10 years, it puts you in the 0.0001%. Most businesses fold within the first 5 years because it requires more effort than you think. It requires more discipline than you think. It requires a greater investment than you think. Most people drastically underestimate how long it's going to take and what is required to achieve these things. It's the same concept as most people drastically overestimate what they can achieve in 12 months and massively underestimate what they can achieve in 10 years. The gap is that you have to keep doing the work. You have to keep showing up. Intensity, consistency, and effort. These are the things that are required. And that's what Demanding Greatness teaches you. It delivers the tools and the skills to be able to do that. But it's why I think it is your duty, your honor, and obligation as a father to be in great fucking shape. Because it says something about you. Being in great shape is one of those things that can't be bought, can't be stolen, you can't cheat your way there. You have to actually do the work. You actually have to show the fuck up over and over and over again. You have to choose the right options. You have to choose hard over easy over and over and over again for a really long period of time. And those are skills that are so important to pass along to your children. They are vital to pass along to your children. Delayed gratification, intensity, consistency, effort, giving your all to something that matters. These are things that will change your life, will change their lives, will set them up for success. But it starts with you making that first decision. Making that first decision to invest into you, whether that's time, money, effort, or all of the above, into you so that you can be the best version of yourself. That's why it's demanding greatness. You must demand greatness of yourself. Because by doing that, you will allow your children to witness the greatest skills that anyone can have. But it starts with you. Not to mention just all the other benefits that come with it. Healthier life, better energy, better capacity, more confidence, all those things. And teaching them from a young age so that they don't have to learn those skills as an adult. That's a no fucking brainer. We want the best for our children, I assume. Some parents are crazy with that shit, but you know, I at least want the best for my children. And that means making sure that they are the healthiest, fittest, strongest, most capable version of themselves. I had this argument, and this is getting way off tangent, but here we are, with someone the other day, and they're like, aren't you worried that your children will be weird? Aren't they already, different enough? Because I was talking about, one of the new studies showing that children should have creatine because it improves brain function, improves muscle capacity, all these kinds of things. It's just fucking phenomenal for them. And they're like, oh, aren't they already different enough? Yeah, society is fucked. The average person isn't what we should be aiming for. To fit in with average is not the fucking answer. We should be looking for them to have the tools so that they are capable of doing whatever. Absolutely anything they want. And no, that doesn't necessarily mean they need to be athletes. But being healthy, being fit, being strong doesn't need to be the only thing for an athlete. That should be a requisite for life. Everyone should be in the greatest possible shape they can be. Unquestionably. I don't know why we have to have debates and discussions on this. That should just be the no-brainer. The fact that the majority of the population are overweight or obese is not an acceptable thing. Healthy, fit, strong, capable is normal. Just because the average person isn't that doesn't mean that it's not normal. That is what we all should be. We've just lost our way in society. So you as the father need to set that standard. You as the father need to show up every single day as that version and teach them that it is normal. Because remember, and I'm sure you've experienced this as well, you don't know what isn't normal until you get to adulthood and go, what do you mean you didn't have those things? What do you mean your life wasn't like that? If they just grow up thinking that eating good food, exercising, being active, being outside, doing these kinds of things, delaying gratification, choosing long-term satisfaction over instant dopamine is the normal thing, imagine how much better off they'll be. If you teach them now, when they're young, the skill of trusting themselves that they'll follow through because that's all they've ever done, what a fucking gift you will give them. And that's what this is about. That it's bigger than you. It's bigger than right here. Right now. It's about teaching those skills. So if you want to develop the skills to break procrastination, if you want to develop the skills so that you don't need to worry about that anymore, that you just know that if you start something, you will follow through. If you build the confidence of doing that over and over and over again, well, now's your moment. Click the link in my bio, shoot me a message, let's get you into demanding greatness. It's not going to be easy. It is going to require investment into you. But I can promise you that you will break that procrastination. You'll become the greatest version of yourself, and your whole life will change from that outcome. So if you're ready for that, let's get you into demanding greatness and begin that journey together.